these modules can be published independently from each other. And we hope to get on that way shorter publication cycles for the faster developing topics. These are the intended modules for Saga 5. The basic principles and the module about Saga conformance are in a draft version available. We are discussing it by now with the federal government, and we hope that they will be ready in September 2010, and then we will start with the module for the technical specification on the basis of these two first modules. And we hope after that to do some more modules about semantic specifications, software applications, and methodological specifications. Because of the new validity of Saga, we made some changes to the classification system. The names of the classifications are now all adjectives. So the first class is the class suggested. It means that these standards will be under a deeper look, and before the next Saga version will be released. It says nothing about the quality of the standards and the classification. If a standard has been observed, and if a standard fulfills the minimum requirements of openness and is finalized, and it is of good use for the application of the federal government, then it could be classified as observed. Perhaps the observed standards are not fulfilling all goals of Saga, and perhaps there are not a lot of implementations and not a lot of experiences. If these experiences were there, so we can ensure that the investment into this specification will be secure, we can give them the classification recommended. And only these specifications that are the single solution, the one that must be used, will get the classification obligatory. But sometimes there came new versions or alternatives, then an obligatory standard will be only recommended, and someday it gets the classification obsolete. And that means that an existing application is still allowed to use the specification in further development. So their investment costs are secured. And only very old standards or bad standards become the classification discarded. That means the standard can be used, but new and old applications must migrate from them, or must migrate when they will be further developed, or there must be a Saga-conform alternative implementation. Or perhaps there are discarded standards like old picture formats like BMP, and you may use this format, but you have to make available the same pictures in a Saga-conform format like JPEG or PNG. Another new point with Saga are domain-specific variants. There are a lot of different requirements of the different administrations, for instance, in the Department of Defense, and therefore we allow in the future to make an individual variant of the document. So it will be possible to omit recommendations or to make recommendations obligatory, and also to add new recommendations and obligatory rules. But what is obligatory in Saga must be still obligatory in a domain-specific variant. And we hope that new publication channels of Saga 5 will support the building of such domain-specific variants. Now then, let's have a look at the main assessment criteria of specifications. We will look at all specifications and we research for all these points and document all the answers, and the answers to these points are the foundation for a classification. So we look at the purpose of standards, their scope of services, the relevance for the software systems of the given domain, in the case of Saga for the federal administration. We look at the openness of the specification, the openness of the specification process. And we look at whether there are different implementations of the standard, or at least a single implementation that must be freeware. And we research if the platform independency will be supported by the specification, or whether it will reduce costs and risks, and it will protect the investment. Also, we search for experiences and praxis and compare it with possible alternatives. And then for the goals of Saga, we look at the support of agility, the fulfillment of IT security requirements, the enhancement of interoperability, support of reusability, and whether it supports and allows scalability. And after looking at all these points, we came to a classification. This is an example for the resource description framework, and the most important information are put into Saga and into the description of the specification, and it says for what purpose the specification is recommended. At least let's have a short view on the process for the declaration of conformance. So we decided to make a process that starts with a project beginning and not a declaration at the end of the implementation, because if you recognize at the end that the solution is not Saga conform, you will not start again. That's why it is necessary for the contracting body and creating the bidding documents to create a criteria group for Saga conformance and to make it clear what you mean Saga conformance. It's not enough to give one sentence. You make it more clear which topics of Saga are relevant for your application, and possibly which standards you really need, and for which standards you will let the contractor choose from all possible standards given in Saga. And the contractor has to answer this criteria group. The contracting body will accept one tender, and then the winner will implement the solution. And at the end, he has to give a declaration about the Saga conformance, and the contracting body is in the position to look at this declaration, look at the original answer of the criteria group Saga conformance. We all both must admire some change requests, and then the solution can be accepted as Saga conform. Let's have a look into the future. On federal level, there will be an update of Saga 4 in September 2010. We hope Saga 5 with the technical specifications module will attend in the middle of 2011. And a project group on federal architecture framework is still working. And there is a really new IT planning council for all levels, the federal, the state, and the municipality level. They work on further development of tools for a subject-specific data model standardization, like the repository and the X generator. They will certify subject-specific data standards. It is planned for further development of the core components library, and hopefully someday they will start an initiative for a national interoperability framework in Germany. Thank you very much.